There's a ghost in the machine, and it's coming for your paycheck. By the year 2027, the economy as you know it will be unrecognizable. The skills that kept your parents in the middle class are becoming digital dust. The degree you're paying for, it's a recipe for a meal that's already been eaten. Most people are walking into a slaughterhouse thinking it's a career path. They're playing by 1990 rules in a 2027 world. If you don't have a high-income skill, a skill that market can't automate and can't ignore, you're not just behind, you're extinct. Today we're identifying the 3 lethal tools you need to build a dynasty while the rest of the world falls into the zero. Let's look at the problem. For decades, the world rewarded the generalist or the jack of all trades, the person who is pretty good at a lot of things. You went to school, learned to follow instructions, and became an interchangeable part. But interchangeable parts are replaceable. Interchangeable parts are cheap. And in the next 3 years, interchangeable parts are going to be replaced by algorithms that don't need a lunch break or a health insurance plan. Look at the data. Inflation is a tax on the stagnant. If your income isn't growing faster than the cost of living, you're getting poorer while working harder. That's the get rich or die trying reality. Most people choose the die trying part because they refuse to specialize. They're clinging to a sinking ship because they're afraid of the deep water. But the deep water is where the sharks live. And in 2027, you either become a shark or you're the bait. You don't need more hard work, you need more leverage. Hard work without leverage is just slavery. High-income skills are the lever. They allow one man to do the work of 1,000. They turn your time from a commodity into a weapon. The year 2027 is a terminal point for the traditional economy. We are approaching a convergence of 3 forces that will permanently erase the middle class. First, the total integration of generative artificial intelligence into the corporate workforce. Second, the final collapse of the purchasing power of fiat currency. Third, the total obsolescence of the generalist worker. If you are currently trading your time for a fixed salary, you're holding a depreciating asset in a hyperinflationary environment. The corporate structures that once promised safety are pivoting toward automated models that view human employees as an inefficient expense. This is the agitation of your current reality. Your degree and your current job description are blueprints for a world that no longer exists. By 2027, the barrier to entry for cognitive labor will drop to zero because machines will perform those tasks for free. Being good at your job is no longer a survival strategy. If software can replicate your output, your market value is zero. Most people ignore this because the change is incremental. They feel the pressure of rising cost and stagnant wages, but they mistake it for a temporary dip. It's not a dip, it's the end of the road. If you do not possess a skill that is immune to automation and essential for high-level commerce, you'll be forced to compete for the scraps of the service economy. The psychological toll of being average in 2027 will be catastrophic. You will watch the cost of land, energy, and high-quality food move completely out of your reach. You'll be trapped in a cycle of debt, forced to rent your life from the people who own the architecture of the new economy. This is the die-trying outcome. It is the result of choosing comfort over specialization. You are currently in a high-stakes race against a deadline you cannot move. Every day you spend without developing a high-income skill is a day you are surrendering your future to the machine. The gap between the zero and the dynasty is no longer about hard work. It's about the acquisition of specific high-leverage knowledge. If you do not have that knowledge, you are effectively invisible to the market. The economy of 2027 does not reward effort. It rewards results that cannot be automated. To build a dynasty, you must master the 3 pillars of the new economy. The first pillar is high-stakes persuasion. This is the ability to move human emotion into a specific action. While machines can optimize data, they cannot replicate the deep biological drive of human trust and leadership. High-stakes persuasion involves understanding the psychological triggers that lead to large-scale transitions. This is the most direct path to offensive income. You must become the person who can identify a massive market problem and convince stakeholders to fund your solution. Persuasion is the primary tool of the architect. It allows you to command resources you do not yet own. You must study the science of influence, the mechanics of negotiation, and the architecture of narrative. In the next 3 years, the ability to sell a vision will be the only way to secure capital. People do not buy products, they buy certainty. If you can provide certainty in an uncertain world, the market will pay you whatever you ask. This involves mastering cold outreach, the psychology of objection handling, and the ability to close high-ticket deals that move millions of dollars. The second pillar is systems architecture and AI orchestration. You do not need to be a software engineer, but you must be an operator who understands how to build digital leverage. In the old world, wealth was built on the backs of human labor. In the 2027 economy, wealth will be built on the backs of automated systems. You need to learn how to string together different technologies to solve complex problems without increasing your overhead. This is how a single individual can outcompete a traditional firm of 50 people. You must learn to view technology as a workforce that does not sleep. If you are doing manual work, you are the fuel. If you build the system that does the work, you are the owner. The skill involves mapping out business processes, identifying friction points, and injecting AI at every stage to create a lean, unstoppable machine. You must master prompt engineering, workflow automation, and data management. Your goal is to create a business model where the cost of production is near zero, but the value of the output remains high. The third pillar is capital allocation. This is the final stage of the Dynasty builder. Once you have generated high income through persuasion and scaled it through systems, you must learn where to place that capital to ensure it never disappears. Most people treat money as something to be spent. The Dynasty mindset treats money as a soldier to be deployed. You must master the ability to evaluate businesses, understand equity structures, and navigate the shifting landscape of hard assets. Real wealth is not found in a bank account. It is found in ownership of the means of production. You must learn how to buy cash flow. By 2027, traditional stock and housing markets will be highly volatile. Those who understand how to move capital into private deals, specialized niches, and high-yield automated assets will control the future. This requires a deep understanding of risk assessment, tax efficiency, and the legal structures needed to protect wealth across generations. Mastering these three skills requires a total rejection of the safe path. It requires a level of focus that eliminates everything else. The clock is already running. The technology is already being deployed. The currency is already being devalued. You have two choices: remain a generalist and wait for the machine to replace you, or become the specialist who owns the machine. There is no middle ground left. The 2027 economy will not offer a safety net. It will only offer a scoreboard. Your ability to persuade, your ability to build systems, and your ability to move capital will determine whether you're at the top or the bottom. You must start now. Every hour you spend consuming entertainment is an hour you are giving to your competitors. The architecture of your dynasty depends on the skills you master today. The transition from a state of financial vulnerability to a state of absolute power is a matter of discipline. You must isolate yourself from the distractions of the average person. The average person will not survive the 2027 shift with their lifestyle intact. They're too slow to adapt and too comfortable in their mediocrity. You can't afford that luxury. You must view the next 3 years as a war for your legacy's future. The three high-income skills are your weapons. If you don't master them, you're walking onto the battlefield unarmed. The world is changing, and it is changing in favor of those who have the courage to specialize. The dynasty is not built on hope. It is built on the aggressive accumulation of leverage. Master the kill, build the machine, and move the capital. This is the only way forward. The get rich or die trying mentality isn't about being reckless. It's about being so committed to your legacy that failure isn't an option. It's about building something that the 2027 storm can't wash away. If you're ready to stop being an interchangeable part and start being the architect, stay on this frequency. This is the Zero to Dynasty channel. We don't pray for luck. We master the skills. Leave a comment below. Which of these skills are you going to master first? Write sales, systems, or capital. Declare it. Let the world know you're no longer playing the safe path game. The clock is ticking. Build your dynasty or get out of the way.